Yeah, first. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhi Tamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we're in the last lap of this course, and we have come to the 18th chapter. Just like the second chapter, the 18th chapter also is pretty big. It's the biggest chapter out of the 18. It has 78 shlokas, and it covers a very wide range of topics, and also is a beautiful culmination of all that has been told by Krishna to Arjuna on the battlefield. Like I have been mentioning, a few elements of the Sattva Rajas Tamas continues here. So once we come to the end of that segment here, when the discussion on the Guna Triad completes, then we'll take up a couple of questions that were raised during the course of the 14th and 17th Adhyaya. Then there are some other very nice shlokas as well about a variety of things. Let me share my screen. Yeah. The 18th chapter starts off with Arjuna asking, Arjuna Uvacha, Sanyasasya Mahabaho Tattwamichhami Veditum Tyagasya cha Hrishikesha Prithak Keshini Sudana. So, Krishna, what is the real difference between sannyasa and tyaga? Right? The basic meaning of both the words sannyasa and tyaga are the same. So, what really is the difference between these two terms? So, Mahabaho, he says, oh, mighty armed, Hrishikesha, Keshini Sudana. These are all epithets of Krishna. Sannyasasya Tyagasya cha Tvam Prithak Veditum Ichhami. Sannyasasya Tyagasya, of sannyasa and of tyaga, cha tattvam, the essence, the what it really means, prithak, separately, veditum ichhami. I would like to know what is the difference, what truly separates the two terms, sannyasa and tyaga. So, Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Sannyasasya Mahabaho.
Sannyasasya Mahabaho.
Tattvamichhami veditum.
Tattvamichhami veditum.
Tyagasya cha Hrishikesha.
Tyagasya cha Hrishikesha.
Prithak Keshini Sudana.
Prithak Keshini Sudana.
Thank you. Then Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Krishna replies, Kamyanam karmanam nyasam samnyasa kavayo viduhu sarva karma phalatyagam prahurtyagam vichakshanaha. Almost in a nutshell, he captures the teaching of the Gita. In many shlokas, we can find that kind of acting done by Krishna. This is the Kavi and Rishi. They are both used interchangeably in the Veda. Kavi means poet, Rishi means seer, a person who has got the ability to see the truths, who is able to realize the truths. So the seer sages know that sannyasa is giving up actions driven by selfish desires. The learned ones define tyaga as giving up attachments to the result of all action. So this is the subtle difference. So kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam iti kavayaha viduhu. The word sannyasa itself, nyasa is to place something or to stop something. So a complete stop, a complete cessation of all action, all desires, absolute stillness. This is what is samnyasa. Samyak nyasa is sannyasa. When we say sannyasa, it says kamyanam karmanam nyasam. So all giving up, all actions driven by selfish desire, this has been called sannyasa by the rishis, by the kavis. Sarva karma phala tyagam vichakshanaha tyagam iti prahuhu. So sarva karma phala tyagam. So giving up, or renouncing the attachment to the result of all action. Vichakshanaha, the learned people, the wise people, they call this as tyaga. So the distinction is, one is giving up action itself, all actions driven by selfish desires is sannyasa. Tyaga specifically in this case refers to karma phala tyaga, sarva karma phala tyaga. So giving up attachments to the outcomes of all action. Whatever action you continue to work, you don't renounce action, but you detach yourself from the possible outcomes of the action. So this is really kind of whether he's talking about in the second adhyaya or later on in some of the other adhyayas, the basic idea is not to renounce action, not to give up work, but to continue working and be detached from the possible results. So, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha,
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam,
Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam
Sannyasam Kavayo Viduhu,
Sannyasam Kavayo Viduhu
Sarva Karma Phalatyagam,
Sarvakarma Phalatyagam
Prahustyagam Vichakshanaha.
Rahustyagam Vichakshanaha
त्याज्यम दोषवद इत्येके कर्म प्राहुर मनीषिणः यज्ञ दान तपः कर्म न त्याज्यम इति चापरे. Some people, some thinkers declare that every action is tainted and should be given up. There are some other people who say that yajna, dana, and tapas should never be given up. AK, some people, AK Manishinaha, some people, some thinkers, doshavat karma tyajyam iti prahuhu. So doshavat karma, karma is tainted. All actions are tainted. Tyajyam iti prahuhu. So they must be given up. All action must be given up because every action we do has the taint of selfish desire. So we should give up completely all actions. This is some thinkers. Apare, other people, yajna dana tapah karma cha na tyajyam iti. So other people are of the opinion that yajna, dana and tapas are never to be given up. So like we have discussed earlier, yajna literally refers to the Vedic fire ritual, but in a general sense, yajna refers to a selfless work, worship, work as worship, service above self, this kind of idea. It refers to a sense of dedication to work. Dana is, charity. We have seen the different types of dana also. Dana is something which is undertaken with the feeling that it's one's duty to give others and includes offering the right gift to the right time and the right person without expecting anything in return. Tapas is austerity, single-minded focus on some activity, hard work, detachment. All these things come under tapas. So some thinkers are of the very firm opinion that yajna, dana, tapas are not to be abandoned. They must be done. Tyajyam doshavad ityeke
Yajyam Doshavadityeke
karma prahur manishinaha
Karma Prahur Manishinaha
yajna dana tapah karma
Yajna Dana Tapah Karma
na tyajyam iti chapare.
Na Tyajyamiti Chapare.
Now the next three shlokas can be taken together, 4, 5 and 6. He says, Nischayam shrunu me tatra tyage bharata sattama tyago hi purusha vyaghra trividaha samprakirtitaha. Yajna dana tapah karma na tyajyam karyam eva tat yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Then he says, etanyapitu karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyani iti me partha nishchitam matam uttamam. Now, let us look at the summary of this. I will reveal to you the ultimate truth about Tyaga, Arjuna. First of all, one should never give up yajna, dana, and tapas because they sanctify human life when followed wisely. However, one should do these actions by giving up attachments and desire for rewards. Without doubt, this is the best way to act. And further, note that Tyaga is also of three kinds, like Sattva Tyaga, Sattvika Tyaga, Rajasika Tyaga, and Tamasika Tyaga. So Bharata Sattama, best among the Bharatas, best in the line of descendants of Bharata. Tatra Tyage me Nischayam Shruno. Listen to me. The ultimate, very clearly, what I'm very, I'm very clear about this. He says Nishchitam, very, what do you say? I'm decided about this very clear decision. I will tell you, Purusha Vyagra, tiger among men. It's again epithet of Arjuna. Tyagaha hi trividha samprakirtitaha. There are three kinds of tyaga. Then he says, Yajna dana tapah karmam na tyajyam tat karyameva. So, yajna, dana, and tapas should never be abandoned. They must be followed by everybody because yajna, danam, tapaha cha eva manishinam pavanani. It purifies human life when followed wisely. This when followed wisely is we have to understand it. So, if you do it incorrectly, if you do tamasika dana, if you do tamasika yajna, then it's not going to purify you. Sattvika dana, sattvika yajna, sattvika tapa will going to help you, right? So it's to be understood that it's followed correctly, followed wisely. Then partha etani apitu karmani sangam phalani cha tyaktva. So these actions that you do, you must undertake it with a detached manner where you are not attached to the results of the action. So sangam phalani cha tyaktva, having abandoned your attachments, kartavyani iti nishchitam me uttamam matam. Having abandoned this, you must do your kartavya, your work, your duty. This is my firm decision. This is my, I'm very clear about this. Without doubt, this is the best way to act. So, Nishchayam Shruno me tatra.
Nishchayam Shruno me tatra.
Tyage Bharata Sattama.
Tyage Bharata Sattama.
Tyago hi Purusha Vyaghra.
Tyago hi Purusha Vyaghra.
Trividha Samprakirtitaha.
Trividha Samprakirtitaha.
Yajna Dana Tapah Karma.
Yajna Dana Tapah Karma.
Na Tyajyam Karyameva Tat.
Na Tyajyam Karyameva Tat.
Yajnyo Danam Tapaschaiva.
Yajnyo Danam Tapaschaiva.
Pavanani Manishinam.
Pavanani Manishinam.
Etanyapitu Karmani.
Etanyapitu Karmani.
Sangam Tyaktva Phalani cha.
Sangam Tyaktva Phalani cha.
Kartavyaniti me partha.
Kartavyaniti me partha.
Nishchitam matamuttamam.
Nishchitam matamuttamam.
Niyatastasya tu sannyasah karmano nopapadyate mohattasya parityagaha tamasah parikirtitaha. So now he has told that tyaga is of three types. Now he starts off by talking about the tamasika tyaga. So it is not right to abandon the work that is meant to be done. When one abandons work out of delusion, that tyaga is of the nature of tamas. So niyatasya karmanaha tu sannyasah na upapadyate. So designated karma, niyata karma. sannyasa, giving up designated karma, na upapadyate. It is not to be done. It is not suited. It's not appropriate. It is inappropriate to abandon the work that is meant to be done. Mohat tasya parityagaha tamasa iti parikirtitaha. So when one abandons work out of delusion, that tyaga is the nature of tamas. Now, when we say niyata karma, work that is meant to be done, it means our responsibilities that, or the work that is in tune with our nature. For example, taking care of our own body, taking care of our emotions, or for example, keeping our environment clean or not polluting the natural environment, taking care of our parents, being kind to people around us. All these things are the actions that are meant to be done. These are our duties, whether as a citizen of a country, whether as a member of a family, as a sadasya of some sabha. It is important. We have certain responsibilities, and it is not right to abandon this work. And when one abandons work out of delusion, because they are not clear, they are so ignorant, then they don't do the work. That tyaga is of the nature of tamas. What happened? Yeah. Niyatasya tu sannyasah
नियतस्य तु सन्न्यासः
कर्मणो नोपपद्यते
कर्मणो नोपपद्यते
मोहात् तस्य परित्यागः
मोहात् तस्य परित्यागः
तामसः परिकीर्तितः.
तामसः परिकीर्तितः.
Then he says, dukkamityeva yat karma kaya klesha bhayat tyajet sakritva rajasam tyagam naiva tyaga phalam labhet. So one who abandons work because it is inconvenient, fearing that it will cause exertion, such a person gains nothing from tyaga. This tyaga is the nature of rajas. So kaya klesha bhayat dukkham iti eva yat karma tyajet Saha rajasam tyagam kritva tyaga phalam na eva labhet. So karya klesha bhayat dukkham. So either owing to bhaya, fear, karya klesha bhayat, sorry, fearing that it will cause like tiredness or exertion, or dukkham, or because it will cause pain or sorrow, because it's inconvenient, and because of certain kind of mental lethargy, when eva yat karma tyajet, one who gives up action, that is known as a rajasic tyaga, and they will not get the benefit of having abandoned it. At least if, for example, I do certain tyaga, I give up eating sweets, that benefit of that giving up of eating sweets will be seen by me having a healthier body. When you do tyaga of something that is undesirable, we get a tyaga phala. Whereas here, a person who gives up activities because it is inconvenient, they don't get any benefit from the tyaga. So in this case, we can also look at rajas as excessive indulgence in luxury. Right? So that kind of tyaga is rajasic tyaga. Dukkham ityeva yat karma.
दुःखमित्येव यत् कर्म
Kaya klesha bhayat tyajet.
कायक्लेशभयात् त्यजेत्
Sakritva rajasam tyagam.
सकृत्वा राजसं त्यागं
Naiva tyaga phalam labhet.
नैव त्यागफलं लभेत्.
Satvika tyaga. Karyamityeva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna. Sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva tyagaha satviko mataha. So when one engages in work considering it as a responsibility, being detached and desireless, that tyaga is of the nature of sattva. So the tyaga is from attachments. The tyaga is from desires. Arjuna, sangam phalam cha eva tyaktva karyam iti eva yat niyatam karma kriyate saha tyagaha satvikaha mataha. So sangam phalam cha eva tyaktva. So giving up sanga, which is attachment, and phala, which is the result, attachment to the result of the action. Giving up this attachment. One who does work, karyam tyaktva karyam iti eva yat niyatam karma kriyate. One who engages in work that is meant to be done, treating it as a responsibility, as a duty, but being detached from the possible results of the action. That kind of detachment, that kind of tyaga is sattvika tyaga. Right? It's a balanced and mindful state of existence where you are giving up attachments rather than giving up work. So, karyam ityeva yat karma,
कार्यमित्येव यत् कर्म
niyatam kriyate arjuna,
नियतं क्रियते अर्जुन
sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva,
सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव
satyagah satviko mataha.
स त्यागः सात्विको मतः
न द्वेष्ट्यकुशलं कर्म कुशले नानुषज्यते त्यागी सत्व समाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशयः. So, established in sattva and with doubts expelled, the wise man, wise woman renounces. He or she does not crave for work that is pleasant. He or she does not avoid the work that is unpleasant. So, sattva samavishtaha chinna samshayaha medhavi tyagi akushalam karma na dveshti kushalena anushajjate. So, sattva samavishtaha, established in sattva, chinna samshayaha, one whose doubts are all dispelled, who's completely free of all doubts, medhavi, a wise person, a person with medhas, with intellect, with brilliance, a brilliant or wise person, tyagi, medhavi, tyagi, a renouncer with that brilliance who has all his doubts expelled and is established in sattva. Akushalam karma na dveshti. He does not hate or avoid work that is unpleasant. Kushalena anushajjate. He does not crave for work that is pleasant. So he has gone beyond distinguishing pleasant and unpleasant. He only knows that this is the work I am supposed to do and I will do it without being attached to the final results, because results will come as a natural course. I don't have to go hankering after it. Na dveshtya kushalam karma
न द्वेष्ट्य कुशलं कर्म
kushalena anushajjate
कुशलेनानुषज्यते
tyagi sattva samavishto
त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टो
medhavi chinna samshayaha.
मेधावी छिन्नसंशयः
न हि देहभृता शक्यं त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी स त्यागीत्यभिधीयते. So it is not possible, we have seen earlier, right? It is not possible to give up all actions. One has to act, at least to take care of his body. It is not possible to give up all actions. But the one who gives up the desire for the fruit of the action is said to have relinquished. So, you remember in the third chapter, we saw nobody can remain passive for even a moment. Everyone is helplessly drawn into action by inborn natural impulses, Krishna said. Right? So, deha bhrita asheshataha karmani tyaktum nahi shakyam. It is not possible for a person who is a deha bhrita, who is having a body, who is residing in a body, who is alive and kicking, it is not possible for them to completely renounce all actions, because the basic maintenance of the body requires us to do action. So, yaha tu karma phala tyagi, saha tyagi iti abhidiyate. So, therefore, the tyagi, who is a person who is said to have renounced, one who has renounced the attachment to the possible outcomes of the action. Right? So we have to focus on the work, not on the result. We have seen this time and again in the Gita. Nahi deha bhrita shakyam
न हि देहभृता शक्यं
tyaktum karmanya sheshatah
त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः
yastu karma phalatyagi
यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी
sa tyagi ityabhidhiyate.
स त्यागीत्यभिधीयते
Anishtam, ishtam, mishram cha trividham karmanah phalam bhavatyattyaginam pretya natu sanyasinam kvachit. So, for those who are attached to the fruits of action, there are three kinds of rewards that are possible: good, bad, or mixture of good and bad that will follow them even upon their death. Whereas for somebody who is unattached to the fruits of the action, there is no such baggage. So, anishtam, ishtam, mishram. Things which are not desirable, bad; ishtam, things which are desirable, which are nice, which are good; and mishram, a mixture of good and bad. Cha iti karmanah trividham phalam, the three kinds of rewards that can accrue from doing action. Atyaginam pretya bhavati, sanyasinam tu na kvachit. So, for those who have not detached from the desires of the reward, this continues, this carries on with them when pretya, when they become like after their death, after they become a preta, after they die. Sanyasinam tu na kvachit, whereas that's not the case of people who have detached from the desires. So basically, what it means, when we are having certain desires which are unfulfilled, those things are carried forward. So we studied about the vasanas in the 15th chapter, right? The residual impact of the action. When one acquires a body, when one departs from it, Krishna says the master within carries these senses just as the wind carries fragrances from one place to another. These vasanas are carried forward. So I told you about this example of going to a dinner buffet. You go back to that line with your plate only when you are hungry. If you are not hungry, once you are full, you keep the plate away. So like that, when in this life you have certain pending desires, then you carry that forward to the next birth. That's the idea. Whereas if you are fulfilled in this birth, all your desires are fulfilled, you have nothing remaining to be fulfilled, there is nothing to carry forward, right? So when people are attached to the result, then there can be good result, there can be bad result, there can be a mixture of good and bad. This will follow them. Whereas a person who is detached from this, they don't have to worry about this. There is no such baggage for this individual who is truly detached. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha
अनिष्टमिष्टं मिश्रं च
trividham karmanah phalam
त्रिविधं कर्मणः फलं
bhavatyattyaginam pretya
भवत्यत्यागिनां प्रेत्य
na tu sanyasinam kvachit.
न तु सन्न्यासिनां क्वचित्.
Okay, there is one question on the tamasika tyaga. If I'm getting things done by someone else by giving them money or hiring them to do my duties, like taking care of parents or anything else, will it be considered tamas? The question is, it's very difficult to pinpoint because every case is unique. But as long as you are able to fulfill your duties in a suitable manner, whether it is now, for example, DVG also takes the case of when we say what is appropriate karma and what is not. Now, going to Devalaya is generally considered to be very good thing, right? To go to a Devalaya, spend some time there. But your mother or father is unwell at home and nobody to take care of them, and you go to Devalaya, then what is the appropriateness there? It's probably better to take care of your uh, father or mother or child or somebody who is unwell in the family. Now, let us say you have to go and work in an office and you have to earn money to fend your family, in which case your physical presence may not be possible. In that case, you say, I will go to work, earn money, and then I will also have somebody to take care when I am not there. So in the modern context with the urban setting, where especially the families are not like a joint family of those days, such things are inevitable sometimes. So as long as we are clear what we are doing and we are honest to ourselves, as long as it is not a rajasic or a tamasic tyaga, we are not, let's say, avoiding our responsibility because it is inconvenient or because of some delusion. We are doing it because this is the most suitable way, then I think it is okay. So that's, we have to take a call based on our situation and based on the sutras that are available to us from Gita. We see that in the light of our situation, we evaluate ourselves, because many times we are the best judge of ourselves. So honestly, we look at the situation and we take a call whether we are doing it out of inconvenience or possible trouble or fear of exertion, or we are doing it because this is the best way to go ahead. Okay. So there is no such baggage, coming back to the 12th shloka, no such baggage for people who are not attached to the rewards. Then this is another fantastic set of shlokas, starting from 13th, 13, 14, 15. So we'll take 13 and 14 as a unit. Panchaitani mahabaho karanani nibodhame sankhye kritante proktani siddhaye sarva karmanam. Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha prithak vidam vividhascha prithak cheshtha daivam chaivatra panchamam. The scriptures or the works of wisdom proclaim that 5 factors govern the outcome of all actions: the situation, the individual, the tools or resources that the person has, how he or she uses the tools that are available, and 5th is the unknown forces. So Mahabaho, Sankhye Kritante Sarva Karmana siddhaye proktani etani pancha karanani me nibodha. So Mahabaho, oh mighty armed one, Sankhye Kritante so here Sankhya refers to, you can say, scripture, or you can say wisdom. So the wise thinkers of the past in the works, Sankhye Kritante Sarva Karmanam Siddhaye, the outcome of all actions, Proktani, they have said, Etani Pancha Karanani, these are the 5 factors that govern the outcome of all actions. I will, they have proclaimed, they have taught us. Okay. And so I will tell you what these are. Adhishthanam, Tatha Karta, Prithak Vidam Karanam cha, Vividaha cha Prithak Cheshta, Atra cha eva panchamam daivam. Adhisthana. Adhisthana, is also like a part of a temple, like foundation. But in this case, Adhisthana refers to the situation, the circumstances. Different circumstances will give different results, right? Tatha Karta, the individual, the person who is doing the work, is again very important. The same activity done by person A and person B will give totally different results. You know that. Prithak Vidam Karanam cha, the various tools available, the resources, the skills, the knowledge, the money, the different tools available to us. This also determines the result of the action. Then Vividaha cha Prithak Cheshtha. So the manner in which these tools are used, the same tool may be used very effectively by somebody, and it may be totally misused by somebody else. So the manner in which these resources are used are very important. And finally, Atracha eva panchamam daivam, unknown forces, fate, destiny. This is a 5th factor, right? So it is true, anything you take up, this is an observation of the way the universe works, the way the human, human society works. This is you can look at it as a very acute, astute observation of the human condition. Whatever we do, when, let us say, you're writing an exam, or whether you're playing a game of cricket or chess or whatever, all these factors are very important. If the circumstances are changed, now when you are prepared very well and you're going to write an exam, that's one circumstance which makes a difference. In another case, you are not prepared, you are going to write, or you are going to, you're playing a chess tournament and then you turns out that you have some tragedy at home. So then the way you will go and play a game will be different from that fact, like we are going for a chess tournament or a cricket match and you realize that your wife has given birth to a child. So then the positive feeling of that will change. So the circumstances determine one very important aspect. The individual is very, very important, right? The person who is doing the work, if we assign the right person to the work, the outcome will be different. The resources available, how they use the resources, all these things are somewhat under our control. There is one element which is not under our control, which is unknown forces. We can call it fate, we can call it act of God, like an insurance policy is an act of God. COVID happens, everything you have planned, everything meticulously. Suddenly, a pandemic. It's totally beyond your control. We can't do anything about it, right? We never imagined that we'll be in such a situation. If you told somebody in 2019 that you 1 year later you will be sitting at home for 3 months, they would have laughed at you, right? Or you would have laughed by somebody else. So it's unknown, beyond our control. You may plan everything, in a cricket match, like you're a fantastic bowler, you have some great bowler, fantastic in swinging ball, and everything is there. Finally, wicket keeper may drop the catch. Okay, you do all the hard work, a slip fielder or wicket keeper drops the catch, then your all your effort are in vain. So we are never sure, we can never be 100% in control of our work. Therefore, we go back to the what Krishna said, karmani eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You can only control your action. You cannot control the result completely. There is always this unknown force, unknown aspect which is beyond human control. Therefore, we should not be too much worried about the result. At the same time, we should put our best effort. Okay. Panchaitani Mahabaho.
Panchaitani Mahabaho.
Karanani Nibodhame.
Karanani Nibodhame.
Sankhye Kritante Proktani.
Sankhye Kritante Proktani.
Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam.
Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam.
Adhishthanam Tatha Karta.
Adhishthanam Tatha Karta.
Karanam Cha Prithag Vidham.
Karanam Cha Prithag Vidham.
Vividhascha Prithak Cheshta.
Vividhascha Prithak Cheshta.
Daivam Chaivatra Panchamam.
Daivam Chaivatra Panchamam.
Now, this shloka is also very helpful when we are preparing a plan for our action, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's your school or college or whatever we do, or your family finances, any of these things that you're planning, you have to realize that these are the factors that are very important. What are the circumstances? The circumstances determine the result. The individual, who is the person who is managing it, who are the people I have assigned certain tasks. So it depends on the individual. What are the resources available? How we can use these resources, and keeping some allowance for unknown factors, which we cannot predict, which are beyond our control. We also make allowance for that. So despite that, like even if something untoward happens, we have tried our best to ensure that these 4 things are in place. Even here, the circumstances may not always be suitable to you. So there is also an element of unknown there. Sometimes the tools available are not always there. So limited resources are there. So primarily, the individual and the manner in which we use the resources available, these are really in our control. So that as much as possible, we try to ensure that it's done well, so that we hedge our bets, right? So like they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So we ensure that there will be certain untoward possibilities. We factor in those things and ensure that we still get a favorable result, right? Okay. And Krishna continues. He says, Manobhiryat karma prarabhate naraha nyayam va viparitam va panchayate tasya hetavaha. whatever one does with his body, speech, or mind, with good or bad intention, the same five factors determine the outcome. Naraha, man, humans, Sharira Vang Manobhihi, through their body, through their speech, through their thought. So, in deed, in word, in thought, whether it is Nyayam Va Viparitam Va, whether it is good intention or bad intention, whether it's an honest attempt or something for evil gains, yat karma prarabhate tasya ete pancha hetavaha. The same five factors determine the outcome of action. So if somebody is planning to rob a bank, even there unknown forces can show up, right? You may have all the tools and everything, but there can be some unknown factor. Somebody may press that thing and some police may come. We may be doing some evil or good activity. This is a standard for anything we do because it's a human condition. It is a observation of the human society, human being. So whether it is good intention or bad intention, these are the same factors. So whether somebody is planning a good thing or a bad thing, they have to keep in mind these factors. So, Sharira Vang Manobhiryat.
Sharira Vang Manobhiryat.
Karma Prarabhate Naraha.
Karma Prarabhate Naraha.
Nyayam Va Viparitam Va.
Nyayam Va Viparitam Va.
Panchaite Tasya Hetavaha.
Panchaite Tasya Hetavaha.
This is Tatraivam Sati Kartaram. Atmanam Kevalam tu Yaha. Pashyatyakrita Buddhitvan Nasa Pashyati Durmatihi. So, when he realizes that these five factors determine the outcome of all the actions, when one sees himself as the sole cause, he is truly of limited understanding. He fails to see the truth. He's a stupid fellow, right? Dehabhrata asheshataha karmani tyaktum nahi shakyam. No, sorry. I think it's a mistake. Tatreva sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tu yaha. So one who sees himself alone, atmanam, he alone is the, given the fact that these are the different parameters, kevalam atmanam, one who sees himself alone as the sole cause, pashyati akrita buddhitvan nasa pashyati durmatihi. So a person who doesn't see, who doesn't realize that all these factors are there and he thinks he is the sole cause, then he is of limited understanding and he fails to see the truth. Okay. So tatraivam sati kartaram.
Tatraivam sati kartaram.
Atmanam kevalam tu yaha.
Atmanam kevalam tu yaha.
Pashyatyakrita buddhitvan.
Pashyatyakrita buddhitvan.
Nasa pashyati durmatihi.
Nasa pashyati durmatihi.
So a foolish person does not realize this. He thinks he is the sole cause, right? That's exactly what is said also in the earlier chapter, that we try to focus on the work, not on the result, because we can never be in complete control of the result. Whereas if a person is conceited to think that I am the sole cause, I will determine what will happen in the future, then that is a person of limited understanding. He doesn't understand this five factors. He doesn't understand the mechanism of karma itself. That is what he's trying to say. Yasya nahankrito bhavo buddhir yasya na lipyate hatvapi sa iman lokan na hanti na nibadhyate. So one who is free from ego and has complete understanding, even if he kills, he does not kill, he is not bound. Okay. So even though he's fighting the battle, even though he is involved in killing on the battlefield, he is not bound by it because he is free from ego and he has complete understanding that this is a work. I am on the battlefield. I'm supposed to be doing this work. Therefore, he is free from the taint of action. So yasya ahankritah bhavah na yasya buddhihi na lipyate saha iman lokan hatva api na hanti na nibadhyate. So yasya ahankritah bhavah na, one who does not have the sense of ahankara, ego. Yasya buddhihi na lipyate, one whose his intellect is not attached to the result. His intellect is not clouded by ignorance. Iman lokan, in this world, hatva apina hanti. Even though he kills, he does not kill. He does not. It's as good as he has not killed. Na nibadhyate. He is not bound. So neither the actions nor the outcomes affect him. He is just doing his duty. Now, this is true of a battlefield, right? Like in the civil society, if I take a gun and shoot somebody, I'll be arrested for murder. Whereas the same thing on the battlefield, if I take a gun and shoot somebody, I'll be given a medal. I will be awarded some Vishishta Seva medal or Paramveer Chakra or something like that if you do an act of bravery. So the same action on the battlefield, it is regarded as a noble thing. Outside of that, in civil society, it is a punishable crime. So, person who is able to understand that on the battlefield, even though he kills, he is not labeled. We won't call him a killer. We won't call him a murderer. We will call him a soldier. We'll call him a great soldier or a great general. We won't say he's a killer. Whereas a person who does crime here in the city, who does a murder, we will call him a murderer. So, even though he kills, he does not get that label of he's being a killer because he's doing his duty with a clear awareness of dharma. It is my duty to protect my motherland. He goes and fights on the battlefield, and even though he kills, he is not labeled as a killer, right? So that's exactly what Krishna is saying here. A person who truly understands does not feel that, oh, I have killed this person, I am responsible, I am a bad man. He does not put himself down. A soldier who is honest does not feel that sense of guilt. And he's telling Arjuna, you should also not feel that sense of guilt. Yasya nahankrito bhavo.
Yasya nahankrito bhavo.
Buddhir yasya na lipyate.
Buddhir yasya na lipyate.
Hatvapi sa iman lokan.
Hatvapi sa iman lokan.
Na hanti na nibadhyate.
Na hanti na nibadhyate.
Then he goes on to say, Jnanam Jneyam Parijñata Trividha Karma Chodana Karanam Karma Karteti Trividha Karma Sangraha. So there are three factors that inspire action: the knowable, the knowledge, and the knower. And action comprises the individual, the tools, and the act. So Jnanam Jneyam Parijñata iti karma chodana trividha. So three kinds of karma chodana, three things that inspire action, that motivate one to act. What are that? The three things: Jnanam, knowledge; Jneyam, the knowable, what is to be known; and Parijñata, the one who is knowing. So there are three aspects, right? The one who knows, that which can be known, and knowledge. So these are the three things that motivate one to act. And karanam karma karta iti karma sangraha trividaha. So what is the meaning of action? Karma sangraha. Action together consists of karanam, karma, karta. Karanam is tool, karma is the act, and karta is the person who is doing the act, the doer of the act. So the doer, the tools available, and the act itself. So these are the three things which comprise action is comprised by these three things. So jnanam jneyam parijñata.
Jnanam jneyam parijñata.
Trividha karma chodana.
Trividha karma chodana.
Karanam karma karteti.
Karanam karma karteti.
Trividha karma sangraha.
Trividha karma sangraha.
ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च त्रिधैव गुणभेदतः प्रोक्ते गुणसंख्याने यथावत् शृणु तान्यपि. So, knowledge, action, and individual are also of three types in accordance with the three gunas. This is explained in the principle of gunas, right? So, jnanam, knowledge, karma, action, cha karta, the individual, the doer, the person performing the action, the individual, cha guna bhedatah tridha eva. So, based on the three gunas, even these are of three kinds. Guna sankhyane prochyate. So, according to the rule of the gunas, it has been explained. Tani api yathavat shunu. Listen to them exactly as they are. I'm going to tell you the three kinds of jnana, the three kinds of karma, and the three kinds of karta. The satvika, rajasika, tamasika knowledge, then satvika, rajasika, tamasika action, and satvika, rajasika, tamasika individual. So these are set of three shlokas. Okay, so first let us see 20, 21, and 22. We can look at it as one set. Okay, so let's just look at this one shloka. Jnanam karma cha karta cha
ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च
tridhaiva guna bhedatah
त्रिधैव गुणभेदतः
prochyate guna sankhyane
रोचते गुणसंख्याने
yathavat shृणु tanyapi.
यथावत् शृणुतान्यपि.
So just listen to it exactly as it is. So these are the three kinds of jnana. We will see 20, 21, 22. Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasika. So sarva bhuteshu yenaikam bhavam avyayam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu tad jnanam vidhi satvikam. And he says, पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानं नाना भावान् पृथक् विधान् वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्. Finally, यत्तु कृत्स्नवदेकस्मिन् कार्ये सक्तम् अहैतुकम् अतत्वार्थवद् अल्पं च तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्. So these are the three kinds. What are the three kinds of knowledge? The knowledge that helps one to see the sole imperishable reality in all beings, undivided in the divided, that knowledge is the nature of sattva. The knowledge that makes one to see only division everywhere and to perceive each individual as different from all the others, that knowledge is the nature of rajas. And the knowledge that drives one to cling on to an insignificant pursuit as though it was the only important thing, without rhyme or reason, without foundation in the truth, that knowledge is of the nature of tamas. Okay, so vibhakteshu sarva bhuteshu avyayam ekam bhavam yena ikshate tat jnanam satvikam vidhi. So vibhakteshu sarva bhuteshu, in the divided all the different sarva bhuteshu, in all the beings is all divided. So each individual being we see there it is different, but among this divided, among this variety, one who is able to see avyayam ekam, the one sole imperishable reality that lies behind these different beings, avyayam ekam bhavam yena ikshate, one who sees this one imperishable reality, that spirit of the oneness behind this variety, tat jnanam satvikam vidhi. Know that jnanam to be satvika jnana. सर्वेषु भूतेषु पृथक् विदान् नाना भावान् पृथक्त्वेन तु यत् ज्ञानं वेत्ति तत् ज्ञानं राजसं विद्धि. So one who sees sarveshu bhuteshu, in all the beings, pratak vidhan nana bhavan prataktvena. So one who sees differences and perceives every individual separate from the other, to yat jnanam vetti tat jnanam rajasam vidhi. So one who sees division everywhere, perceive each individual as separate from others, know that knowledge to be of the nature of rajas. And finally, the knowledge that drives one to cling on to insignificant pursuit. So, yattu ekasmin karye kritsnavat saktam ahaitukam atatvarthavat alpam cha tat tamasam udahritam. Yattu ekasmin karye, in one pursuit, you put everything in one this thing, kritsnavat saktam ahaitukam atatvartham atatvarthavat. So something which is not having a tattva, something which is, without rhyme or reason, is very insignificant, alpam, and it is not, having any foundation in tattva. That kind of pursuit of some useless thing, absolutely insignificant thing, and attached to that, that is known as the tamasam udahatam. That is to be said that jnanam is, it's not even jnanam, but it's that is, he doesn't use the word jnanam here, whether it is because of to avoid the punarukti dosha, or whether it is to indicate that this is not even called knowledge, right? It is kind of, that word jnanam doesn't apply here. So it is a tamasic tendency to cling on to an insignificant pursuit, which is absolutely useless, but thinking that is the most important thing. That kind of thing is a tamasic tendency. Okay, so let us see this one after the other. Let's repeat. Sarva bhuteshu yenaikam.
Sarva bhuteshu yenaikam.
Bhavam avyayamikshate.
Bhavam avyayamikshate.
Avibhaktam vibhakteshu.
Avibhaktam vibhakteshu.
Tajnanam vidhi satvikam.
Tajnanam vidhi satvikam.
Then prithaktvena tu yajnanam.
Prithaktve tu yajnanam.
Nana bhavan prithak vidhan.
Nana bhavan prithak vidhan.
Vetti sarveshu bhuteshu.
Vetti sarveshu bhuteshu.
Tadjnanam vidhi rajasam.
Tajnanam vidhi rajasam.
Yattu kritsnavadekasmin.
Yattu kritsnavadekasmin.
Karye saktam ahaitukam.
Karye saktam ahaitukam.
Atatvarthavad alpam cha.
Atatvarthavadalpam cha.
Tat tamasam udahratam.
Tat tamasam udahratam.
Okay, we'll stop here because there's another set of three shlokas which will take some time, more than 2 minutes. So he talks about, next he will discuss about the three types of karma, then the three types of individuals based on sattva, rajas and tamas. Similarly, intellect and resolve, these also have three types. So the three types of buddhi and three types of dhriti he discusses. Finally, sukha, three types of sukha, what is seen in the lens of the sattva, rajas, tamas. So with that, in the 40th shloka, he finishes the discussion on gunas. So there we can have like a cutoff point and then discuss a little bit about the sattva, rajas, tamas. Then 41 onwards, we will start talking about the nature of the people of the different varnas, and then he talks about swadharma, and kind of culmination of all the teachings start off with the 50th shloka, where he talks about the Brahmi sthiti and culminates to the end of the work. Okay, so I think after the 40th, in case I forget, one of you can remind me, we'll take up a little discussion on the sattva, rajas, tamas, and especially somebody was asking about how we can manage this in the workplace. To whatever extent I can discuss about it, I will bring it up. And something is important for us to realize how this works in the modern context, right? Everything we learn, we have to apply it in practice. Without prayoga, dharma is just nice words to listen to. So dharma is only meaningful when we apply it. It is prayoga. So there is no point in having a beautiful copy of Bhagavad Gita in our house. It's of no use unless you implement it. When you are really in need of it, it should help you. Otherwise, it is just like a reservoir of water and the house is on fire. You are not realizing that water can be used to douse the fire. Okay, so good. Thank you, Hamsa. Once again, we have troubled you and Gauri enough through the course, but since you are all knowing Bhagavad Gita by heart, it should not be very difficult for you. So we are troubling you. Thank you once again. So good. Have a nice evening. Have a nice day wherever you are, and we'll meet tomorrow. And I've spoken to my co-author, my uncle, Dr. Sri Krishna. He's agreed to give us a kind of highlights of the Gita at the end of the course. So mostly he'll do it in one session. It might spill over to session. So we'll do that at the end of the 18th chapter. Instead of me again going through the summary, he'll look at the highlights and you'll get to listen to him as well. He's kind of my mentor and guru. So we can, it'll be very nice to listen to him. I'm also looking forward to that. So thank you so much and see you very soon. Namaste. Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat. Thank you, Hariji.
Namaste.
Take care. Thank you.
Stay safe.